Here. What's up, guys and girls? Happy Wednesday. Hump day. Baseball tonight, man. We got meaningful baseball. Teams in the hunt. Couple division races, not many. A lot of wild card action, man. Baseball's heating up. I'm loving it. I'm loving watching teams I don't care about giving me some very entertaining baseball. I swear it always involves the Padres. Every time I watch one of those NL West games, whether it be the Padres, Dodgers, Giants, Dodgers, it's so good. It's so good. And last night was another slugfest. And I don't know, maybe it's the San Diego fans hit different. I don't know. But those games smack. So I'm loving that. I'm loving. You know, the Dodgers got to the dugout or the visitor locker room yesterday and put that game on. And they must have just been back and forth, man. having a lot of fun. And the Yankees are running their own race right now, man. That's meaningful baseball. It's stressful baseball. Yesterday, as a fan, you get so happy. I got so emotional when Luis Severino got back on the bump, man. I just love baseball. So hopefully you guys did okay last night. I did great. Another one of those nights where I just had strong convictions. So on nights when I have strong convictions like that, I actually stay away from the 150. I go hit up all the 20 maxes I can, and I just stick to a very tight core of teams. And that's what I did yesterday. I was like, dude, Astros, Yankees, and D-backs all day long, all day strong. And that's what happened. So I had a really nice night yesterday. Looking at the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, a couple other strong nights floating around. So when you're on the right stuff, you're on the right stuff. So I'm getting a little bit of a hot streak lately, and that's cool, man. One more streak before the end of baseball. Hopefully you guys are doing good. What's up, chat? What's up, Dang Lazy Mofo? What's up, Shark? How are we doing? Let's look at the standings. This is not it. Let's go look at the standings. Are you kidding me? Are we really doing grass at 2.5? Okay, buddy. It's only 83 degrees? No way. Bruh. That's amazing. AL East. Tampa Bay all but running away with it. Although it feels like they have more than a 6-game lead. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They've been in and out of Nelly Cruz in the lineup. Wander Franco pretty much done for the year. So their games are getting a little harder to string together. They did lose yesterday to a Blue Jays team that can't afford to lose. They're holding a half a game lead on the Yankees for that AL East. And that AL East is basically the wild card race at this point. Looking at Boston, who has a 1.5 game lead on Toronto, who has a half a game lead on the Yankees. The Yankees keep winning. They have series with Toronto, a 3-game stretch, and I believe a 3-game stretch with the Red Sox as well. So they control their own destiny, but we know how Jekyll and Hyde they have been. And then Oakland has woken up from the dead. However, a 2-game losing streak has put them back a little bit, but they had gone on a 5-game stretch to get them back in the conversation, and Seattle's right there as well. So dark horses to get there. We've got 11, 12 games left on the season, something like that. So it's coming down to the wire in that wild card race for the AL, and then the division race that we want to highlight is the NL East. That's got some interesting implications on the next couple of slates here. Atlanta has a 3-game lead on the division. They're getting games against the Diamondbacks pitching staff where they're opening the roof and it's just helping them out. But the Phillies are only 3 games back. So mathematically, Phillies can stay hot. They got a series against the Orioles team that they should clean up, right? Zach Wheeler should dominate the DH-less Baltimore Orioles today. And now if Atlanta can, get a couple hiccups on that road trip, they're right back in it. Mets have pretty much fallen by the wayside. And then the NL West, the Dodgers and the Giants, every game they go out there, it's 100% trying to win that division, man. It is a good time to be a baseball fan. By the way, that NL wild card race, let's take a look at that. What's up, Josh Jennings? Shark says, bruh, question. Do you even think it's possible to grind a living playing DFS singles without having a YouTube subscription show? Like straight grinding singles and cash? So like single entries and cash games? I mean, of course it's possible, but it's not easy. And you probably have to play, say, a high volume. Cash games is a very tough game, right? There's a lot of sharp minds out there, and I think a 65% win rate in cash games is elite. It's probably like the best in the world. And to get 10%, 12% ROI on a cash game stretch to have a livable wage, you have to play incredibly high volume that can sustain bad swings and positive swings. So while I do think it's possible, it's not something I would ever encourage somebody. I just wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't encourage anyone to try and do DFS full time. There's probably, if you're just looking for some passive ways to make an income or be your own boss, so like there's a bankroll that it would take to do that and churn that 10-12% ROI. That bankroll could probably right now buy NFTs and crypto and stuff like that. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to sway you yay or nay, but logistically it's possible. It's just very, very hard. What was I doing? NL wild card. Cincinnati 4 games back. Philly 4.5 games back. That they're starting to get without out of reach here. St. Louis has been on fire. A 10-game win streak to really give them a little bit of separation here. They would have to get into a tough stretch. Do the Cardinals play the Reds? Cardinals schedule MLB because sometimes these teams on the inside looking out, like the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, if you play a team that you're fighting against, those games are worth double. Looking at the Cardinals schedule, they do not play the Reds. And matter of fact, after they're done with the Brewers, they get the Cubs, the Brewers again, and the Cubs. So the Cubs should really afford them a chance to wrap it up. So I don't know. Things are coming down to the wire. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Baseball's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. What up, Sean? What up, Mouse? Looking at today's slate, only a couple of lineups have trickled out. So we'll go game by game here in just a second. 10 games on the docket. Stream, as always, brought to you by RunDFS.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS. We run DFS. If you guys are looking to get access to my research aids, tools, and player pools, hey, that rhymed. I might have to do something with that. You know what I'm saying? Go to RunDFS.com. Get yourself signed up. Doing baseball and football right now. Later on tonight, expect the showdown video for tomorrow's game between the Texans and the Panthers to drop. Just out of curiosity, sometimes I look at this thing for fun. Yesterday, Matt Olson had like 4 or 5 historical homers off of Marco, and he got one. Schwarber's got 3 off of Walker, but nothing credible. Anyway, I don't know. I almost never look at it, but I am today. Guys, I hear a helicopter, I hear people mowing the grass, and I hear a train. You have got to be kidding me with this background noise today. It's literally like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What up, Dave Jones? What up, Alan Hayes? How we doing? Dave Jones, a member of the channel. I appreciate that. I don't know if it's coming across bad on your guys' end, but my goodness, the noise pollution out there is annoying. We'll say that. What was I gonna do? Is that it? You guys want to start talking some baseball? I guess shout out to my boy. Fudge. Okay, you guys didn't see that. You guys want to talk some baseball? Fudge. All right. What up, Julian? What's up, Tyler? Wheeler or nothing? So that's the question I got today for you guys. Just looking ahead at this slate, Zach Wheeler against the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles without a DH, with the Phillies playing for what they're playing for, and the rest of the slate in context. I have to assume Wheeler's going to be your highest owned pitcher. He's only 10.4K. The question that I got in the chat today is if you know that he's 50% owned in tournaments, how much do you want? Do you want to go under the field? Do you want to match the field? Or do you want to get ultimate leverage and hit that fat lock button and go in for it? I think it's an interesting topic because the rest of the pitchers on the slate, There's only one other guy. It's Joe Ryan from the Twins that I was really, really on. But the rest of the pitchers on the slate, you can make a lot of cases for and against. So in 20 lineups, I'm tempted to sniff that old lock button, but him and Joe Ryan are clearly the two guys leading the charge today for me pre-flop. But we'll go game by game here. Wheeler has pitched 200 innings. They're starting to keep him under 100 pitches now. Bad play. No, Sean, you're crazy. Right? Have you not looked at anything? They're not keeping him under 100 on purpose. You don't understand. They have to win. They cannot lose games. You have to put one of the best pitchers in the NL East out there, win that game. Let him get 6 innings if he can. Against the Mets, 93 pitches, 6 strikeouts, 4 hits. I don't think that there's a real plan to keep him limited. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But in the spirit of winning baseball games, you got to win baseball games that Zach Wheeler starts. So I don't, and even if it is 90 pitches, I'll take 90 pitches against the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah. So sign me up for that. Sean, you're not doing it. You're not doing it, bro. We're not. Nope. You're not talking me off. Nope. Not happening. Not happening. Wrong. Do you have a quote from coaches? Like, is that an actual quote that says that the Phillies do not want Zach Wheeler to pitch deep into games? Like, is this a real thing? If it is, it is. But I'm not gonna go off of 1 game sample size. It's just not. Like, that's crazy. There is a quote. So because 1 game he threw 7 less pitches than the Rockies game. What 90 to 100 pitches is fine. I'm playing MLB on Fanduel today. Who's your top pitcher in tournaments? Is 100% Mr. Zach Wheeler, without question. And then behind him is Joe Ryan of the Twins. We'll talk about that game just a little bit, but massive wins blowing in. It's a talented pitcher in Joe Ryan. It's a strikeout-prone Cubs lineup. It's just a really good spot. But let's chop it up. Let's get into game number 1 of 10. The New York Yankees hosting the Texas Rangers. Taylor Hearn, the southpaw, taking on Corey Kluber, the righty, the former Ranger, and a man who actually no-hit the Rangers earlier this season and then went on the DL and missed a lot of time. So matchup-wise, the Rangers are 3.4 implied run total. The Yankees knocking on 6's door when it comes to implied run total. Kluber at 9K. He's definitely somebody that I have not been excited to play all year. And at 9K, I'm looking for 20 plus. Any pitcher, you know me, I want 20 plus on these big slates. Is it possible? It's definitely possible. 6 innings against the Cleveland Indians, just 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. My issue with Corey Kluber is he hasn't been a super elite strikeout guy, and he has definitely found himself in trouble by losing the zone. 2 walks, 2 walks, 3 walks, 2 walks, 3 walks. He's definitely putting some guys on base, and I think the results against the Indians was super positive, but we've seen a 13% walk rate against righties this season, a 176 home run per 9, a 4.9 xFIP, and he's performed a lot better to lefties. And Cleveland is one of those teams where guys like Jose Ramirez, their best players are lefties. When it comes to the Rangers, it's hard to say who their best players is, or it's Adolis Garcia and everyone else. But they do have probably more righties than lefties, if not half and half here. So I think Kluber comes with a lot of volatility. I do think people will look his way, but I'm definitely not excited to get there. Maybe if he was AK, I'd feel a little bit more receptive here. But as somebody who's watched Kluber throughout the season, I'm not running to it. Yeah, his pitch count's opening up a little bit, but he's definitely somebody that I just don't feel is a lockdown option for me today. I do think he can have a good game. I do think 20 plus DKP is in the realm of possibility, so he would be in the player pool for sure. But I don't think he's a super smash option. So if his ownership projection got a little bit uncomfortable, 20-25%, something like that, I definitely would probably just check out. But if he's in the 10%, I don't mind being even with the field and just kind of going with the flow here. Taylor Hearn. a 22% K rate overall this season, and a sub 10% swing and strike rate. Against righties, a 172 home run per nine. And kind of like Dane Dunning yesterday, we've seen that number kind of rise on the road, a 231 home run per nine on the road. We mentioned that Globe Life acts as a pitcher's park. So when you put him in some of these smaller stadiums like Yankee Stadium, that play a little bit more to power because of the open air and stuff like that, he could be in for a long day. So against this Yankees lineup that should come out pretty righty heavy, I would imagine they find a way to get Luke Voit in the mix. This is a big spot. This is a big spot for Yankees offense, and you're seeing it in their implied run total. It's getting close to 6 runs, and the Yankees are just way too cheap. I mean, it's almost, I'm going to say almost, it's literally too easy to come to DraftKings right now, click Zach Wheeler. Even if you're not on Joe Ryan like me, even if you're like on a Chris Sale, you put a Zach Wheeler and a Chris Sale into your lineup, that gives you $37.50 per. Look at these prices. Aaron Judge, $5,200. Everyone else in the 4Ks or less. Luke Voit at $3,200. If he's in this lineup, how do you not? Like, how do you not? So the Yankee stack will probably be pretty chalky just by default. Ease of access, so to speak. They're just way too easy to get 4 or 5 of in a lineup and fill out the rest with some 2K specials. So I'm sure you'll hear it a lot. Maybe you've already heard it a lot today. But man, Stanton 4,300 against a lefty with power problems. Yeah. Luke Voit. Yeah. Joey Gallo, he's been on fire in the last 10-15 games. A lot of times people ignore lefties versus lefties, but with Joey Gallo, with Anthony Rizzo, you don't have to do that. And I would caution you guys maybe not to make that mistake here. Yankees, much like some of these other teams we're talking about, the pressure to win is on. So I would hope that Aaron Boone doesn't give us like a Sunday special lineup. The only difference I would accept is if he played Voit straight up over Rizzo, but he doesn't have to. In 172 at-bats against lefties this year, Joey Gallo, 11 homers and batting .209. So he's actually batting for a little bit better average against lefties. So he's right there in the mix for me as well. And Taylor Hearn is allowed a 145 homer per night to lefties. And I believe Gallo homered off a lefty yesterday. So basically what I'm saying is don't ignore Gallo just because of a platoon disadvantage, right? But yeah, just generally way too cheap are the Yankees. Gary Sanchez under 4K against a lefty. Yeah, I'll take that. So a little bit of Kluber if you want it. Sure, Yankees full stack. They're just way too cheap. And then Rangers, I really don't have interest on the Rangers. I guess if on DraftKings, if I had a hankering for a little bit of Kluber, maybe I'd hedge with a couple of these righties. Kluber, like I said, some power problems to righties. Maybe a Garcia or something like that. But on this slate, I probably don't get too crazy with the Rangers here. Let's get caught up on chat before we move on. The Phillies have clearly scaled back his workload. Yeah, he'll still get 90 though. He's been kept under 100 in 3 of his last 4. I don't think I think you're identifying coincidences, Sean. Like if you don't have a real quote from Joe Girardi saying we don't want our ace to pitch deep, then you're just finding coincidences, because in those games you're talking about his pitch count, he's going 6 innings. Most pitchers in the major leagues, if they go 6 innings, they're just done. Like pitchers, they don't get stretched to go. They don't get asked to go past 6, right? If his pitch count is great, yeah, they'll let him keep going. But you're focusing way too much on the pitch count and not the innings pitched. If Zach Wheeler in his last 10 games has pitched less than 6 full innings one time, miss me with this limited bull crap, because it's not true. It's really not. Let's move on to the next game here. Orioles at the Phillies. Zach Wheeler up against Keegan Aiken. Phillies lineup just came out. The confirmed lineup for the Phillies: Odubel Herrera, Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Andrew McCutchen, Freddie Galvis, Didi Gregorius, and Matt Vierling. Man, the Phillies waited till late. to win that game. They actually went into extras. Yesterday was a spot we kind of figured that they should do well. They had one of the highest run totals on the entire slate, but it was kind of a stagnant game overall. Neither side really got off much action, and it did go to extras. The Orioles scored in extras, and the Phillies responded. The Orioles throwing Keegan Aiken here. Keegan Aiken against righties, a 17% K rate, a 286 average allowed, a 172 home run per nine, while the Phillies are a lineup that's half and half. They do have a lot of talented righties. Realmuto is going to check a lot of boxes here. McCutchen, as always, is going to project well in the bomb detector. We've mentioned his splits against lefties this year has been extremely, extremely positive. Gene Segura has shown a little pop in the last week or two. And then Keegan Aiken's lefty split is not locked down by any stretch. A 4.43 xFIP, 312 average allowed, and a 1.6 home run per nine. So you can sign me up for the Phillies. Maybe a little flop lag after yesterday. I don't mind that. Another team that has to win. And then Zach Wheeler just feels like the lock of the century in this spot. Maybe baseball will be baseball, but the Orioles are already a team that present a lot of upside from opposing pitchers and a lot of upside from opposing aces. And then you take out the DH spot, you replace it with an AL pitcher. They never swing the bat. Should be a lot of strikeouts in this lineup for Zach Wheeler. If I give Wheeler 90 to 100 pitches, I go to the K Factory versus this projected lineup, it's going to spit back 7.42 to 8.25 strikeouts. That's a lot. I would imagine PrizePicks probably sets him at 7.5. Just thinking about the way where the place that their projections have been, 7.5 on the dot. So don't think we're getting like massive value there. I think that's what you should expect. But this is a big spot for Zach Wheeler. So he will absolutely be my highest owned pitcher. I'm curious to see what you guys are going to do, because I assume he's going to be the highest owned pitcher by the field. And it reminds me earlier this season, and I'm not going to compare him talent-wise to Jacob deGrom, but earlier this season, Jacob deGrom was pushing 50, 60, 70% owned in some contests, and I just straight lock buttoned him. And that goes against a lot of principles that we know about baseball. Is with the variance, it almost doesn't make sense to lock anyone or even play anybody at that ownership. But for me today, it just feels like a can't miss spot. So I'm in on Wheeler hardcore, right? I like your Yanks to kind of smash. Yeah, they should. Wrong. What's wrong? I'm not. We're not doing this. I'm not doing this. Let's move on to the next game. Mets and the Red Sox. Chris Sale on the bump for the Red Sox. Red Sox a 5.5. Implied run total. Confirmed lineup for the Red Sox did come out. Enrique Hernandez, Kiki, do you love me? Kyle Schwarber, Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, JD Martinez, Alex Verdugo, Hunter Renfroe, Christian Velasquez, and Jose, I can be your hero, baby, Iglesias. Locked in are the Red Sox, another team that has to win, right? Mets technically have to win, but a couple more gut punch losses, and you got to believe it's done, right? That it's almost blow up time. Chris Sale's 9,600. If you guys enjoyed the Chris Sale contact pitcher experience in his last outing, do we run it back here and say that we're overthinking, right? Last start, he went 5 innings against Baltimore, 79 pitches. It was his first start, I think, off the COVID IL. And he did fine from a real-life pitching standpoint, but only 1 strikeout. I don't know that I've ever seen Chris Sale pitch 5 innings of 1-run baseball and only have 1 strikeout. So we got to expect regression to the mean or progression to the mean and that number to come up. And we probably expect that, 79, 80 pitch count to get closer to 90 here against the Mets, who against lefties have a couple of guys that can strike out. There are some menacing power bats here. Javi Baez, Pete Alonso had a homer yesterday, and I believe he also had 1 robbed yesterday. So it's not a gimme matchup, and if Chris Sale doesn't miss some bats, they could make him pay. But he's definitely one of the guys that I would probably lean on as a supplementary guy if I wanted to get a little bit different and diversify my pitching portfolio. Guys, what is this? Like, do they know I'm live? And I just want to open a door and start cursing out some gardeners, man. Like, what are we doing? Matchup wise here, Taijuan Walker, 4.15 xFIP to righties, 4.77 to lefties. The results against lefties have been there in terms of average allowed and home runs allowed. The ground ball rate's still low. Maybe Fenway will take advantage of proper regression because it looks like he is outperforming what he should be. But against righties, man, 172 home run per nine, 252 average allowed. That it almost looks the opposite, where those numbers should come down based on that bad about data. But a 172 home run per nine, man, you can sign me up for Kiki, Xander Bogaerts, JD, Hunter Renfroe, Bobby Dow back down there. Also pretty cheap guys with a lot of pop, a lot of power. And if you can get behind or on the right side of their K rates, their 28, 35% K rates with a 22% guy who has just a 9.6% swinging strike rate, there's definitely a spot for Red Sox offense to show up and show out. And they have a 5.5 run total. So maybe they get lost in the sauce. You know, a lot of eyes open and looking at the New York Yankees. Of course, Coors is on the field, and I'll be running back Astros and Braves as well. So maybe the Red Sox just exist and they fall through the cracks here. But I would have some exposure to them, right? Raj has let me on the stream. Raj, there's no way I can listen to you and have Sean in the chat and not lose my mind. Like, I might have a meltdown dealing with you two. So no, the freak. One more month, Raj. We can't have Gunn having it. Yeah, I would literally, I would self-implode. Has anyone clicked 100% yet? 14% of 22 people have said that they would lock in 100%. My people. Obviously, it goes without saying, I have no interest in Taijuan Walker, so I'll keep it moving. I'm curious to see what you guys and your level of interest of Chris Sale is. Let's move on to Wrigley. Big game here for wind. Right now, I'm looking at 60 degrees with wind blowing inwards at 23 miles an hour. Now, yesterday, we had a wind advisory for DFS as well, and they nearly lapped the total. They put up runs. So, wind isn't everything, and it's not something I would overreact to. If you like sloppy baseball, if you like bad hitters beating bad pitching, or even good hitters, I think the Twins, like I said yesterday, are underrated. But today, Joe Ryan's 8,200 against a Cubs team that does offer plenty of strikeouts. He gets a little bit of assistance. He's been a fly ball pitcher so far. Might get a little bit of assistance from the wind, keeping some balls in the park. And he's got the stuff, right? 12% swinging strike rate. So far, 17% called strike rate. You want that barrel rate to come down. But I believe it will in due time as he transitions into a big league pitcher. If you pull up Joe Ryan's minor league stuff, he's definitely one of the better pitching prospects in all of baseball. So I like his chances to get off on a Cubs team that has allowed some big games to average pitchers. So maybe this is one of those coming out parties. But Joe Ryan, I think he was throwing a hitless baseball game in his last outing. I think it was on an early slate, so it didn't catch. Let me pull that up. 100% Wheeler today, Tyler. I like it. I love it. 3-1. He was throwing one. He had a one hitter going against Cleveland. 2 games against Cleveland so far. And then his debut was against the Chicago Cubs. So I'm not expecting a big pitch count from him, 80 to 90 pitches. But I think 80 to 90 pitches is worth having some against the Chicago Cubs. So I'm going to go check out his splits here. Joe Ryan, I believe, was the piece or a piece that the Rays sent back to get Nelson Cruz. And the Rays, they don't miss. 39 innings against righties in the minors, 56 strikeouts, 141 average allowed, and 27 innings against lefties, 36 strikeouts, 214 average allowed. Profiles the extreme fly ball guy, 0.59 ground out to air out ratio against lefties, 0.81 ground out to air out against righties. Walks, 7 walks, 27 innings against lefties. So does have some stuff to iron out, but clearly the strikeout stuff is there. So I'm going to be pretty bullish on Joe Ryan here. And it feels almost like a trap in terms of ease of access, right? If I click Zach Wheeler and Joe Ryan, it gives me almost 4K per. Like, I can get 4 to 5 Yankees if I wanted. I can get really any stack I wanted to, but the fact that the Yankees are so cheap is so kind of annoying, right? I think they would be chalky if they were 5K today, but you discount them like that across the board, then yikes. So yeah, give me some Joe Ryan. Kyle Hendricks is on the bump for the Cubs here. He has allowed a lot of damage to both sides of the plate against lefties. A 1.69 home run per nine overall at home in Wrigley this year. 176 home run per nine, 291 average allowed. The batted ball data is like not horrendous, right? If you told me I can get a 43% ground ball rate, a sub 30% hard contact rate, a guy's throwing strikes, I'd be like, all right, sign me up. But the results have just not been there, and the xFIP says, he's not good. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with his lack of velocity. So on a normal day, I might be a little bit more enamored with getting to this twin stack. But I am worried about the power today being potentially suppressed by winds blowing inward. In 10 or less lineups, it feels really hard pressed to go to the twin stack when the Yankee stack is collectively as cheap. Judge being the only guy at 5K, Jorge Polanco 49. So you could almost 1v1 every twin versus the Yankees here, and logic will kind of win out on the Yankee side. But leverage and game theory and contrarian minds that like to thrive in that spot. Maybe the Twins with the wind blowing in and no one going there against a guy like Kyle Hendricks is a fun spot to land on. And as we saw yesterday, they can absolutely score runs by hook or by crook. So look out for that. I never wanted to open my door and yell as much as I do right now. Like that's so annoying. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. That blower, you hear it, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I literally can't control it, but all I know is they asked me to renew my lease and stay longer, and I'm just like, man, the noise pollution has been real between the trains, between just like a non-scheduled mate. I don't know. It's definitely got me looking at moving. Let's move on to the next game. Brewers hosting the Cardinals. Miles Michaelis taking on Brett Anderson. Brett the Hitman. We've got a 4.8 implied run total for the Brewers, 4.3 for the Cardinals. Not a whole lot of interest for me in this game in terms of pitching. Michaelis has a 7% swinging strike rate, and the strike rate on or swinging strike rate on Brett Anderson is under 7%. So it's two contact pitchers going at it. What up, Kate Johnson? And I think the offense is more in play than the pitchers here. Cardinals 10-game win streak here, looking to stay hot and kind of clinch what they're working with in that playoff race. And the Brewers also a team that looking to get a couple dubs on the way out, but their pressure and their sense of urgency to win not nearly as high as the Cardinals. So Brett Anderson, his weaknesses here, really just average allowed. He's not going to give up a bunch of power. He has an extremely high ground ball rate. So by design, he's allowing you to make contact, put it on the ground. If you're going to dare a Paul Goldschmidt to make contact against a lefty, I'm in. Tyler O'Neill. If you're going to offset that 30% K rate with a 13.9% K rate, I'm definitely going to take some shots on their ability to make their batted balls count. But it stands to reason that his ground ball rate could spoil some stacks. So in Matt Century, I would get to some Cardinals just because they have some really, really fun bats against lefties. But an elite ground ball guy like Brett Anderson could kill a lot of fun. Michaelis, so far, so okay. Expected ERA around 5, 15% K rate. He's throwing strikes, though, at 18.6% called strike rate, 3% walk rate to righties, 11% to lefties. That might come to play. The high average allowed to lefties and the walk rate to lefties against a Brewers lineup that projects to be pretty lefty heavy. Maybe that put some of these Brewers in play. You get into the bullpen, and a couple of these Brewers bats come through as big time plays in tournaments. But overall, this game just kind of exists for me. So I'll just be cherry picking where I can. I'm not dedicating myself to a full-fledged onslaught stack. Let's move on to the next game. Coors Field, the Dodgers against the Rockies. Rockies lineup came out. It is Raimel Tapia, Brendan Rodgers, Charlie Blackmon, Trevor Story, CJ Megakrone, Ryan McMahon, Elias. Hello, I am Elias Diaz, and Sam Hilliard. I'll have a Samuel Hilliard. I'll have one too. Confirmed. German Marquez on the bump for the Rockies. We do not have a confirmed Dodgers lineup yet. But like I said, Dodgers, they need to win. They're in a true division hunt. One game flip-flops them from the Padres. They win, and the Padres, or not the Padres, the Giants. If the Dodgers win and the Padres win, the Dodgers, I think, would be tied for the, and it gets crazy. So expect Dave Roberts to play with that sense of urgency. So I'm not expecting I'm not expecting any weird lineups here, right? This wouldn't be the spot for Albert Pujols. German Marquez, a talented pitcher in Coors this year, 3.51 xFIP. 202 average allowed, 0.77 home run per nine is definitely a spot to put your guns out there. They have a 6.5 run total. Yesterday, I was not that high on the Dodgers collectively, so I'll tell you what I did. It wasn't that I didn't like the Dodgers. It was that Antonio Santella had such a high ground ball rate and was suppressing homers that I felt like if the Dodgers were going to be massive chalk, which they were, that I could get away with the Braves stack, the Astros stack, the Yankees stack. So what I did was when I went to, and not that I didn't think the Dodgers were talented enough to get there, but what I did is I went to my optimizer. I set a rule to not have more than 2 Dodgers in a lineup, and I stacked those other teams almost exclusively in 20 lineups. A lot of Braves, a lot of Astros, a lot of Angels. That way I could still have a little access to the Dodger stack, but I wouldn't go 4 or 5 deep, and it worked out really, really well for me. One of my better nights on Fanduel in a while. So today I feel like I would maybe mimic that approach, but the Dodgers are kind of an expensive stack, and I could see them not being the projected ownership today that they were yesterday. And the main reason I would say that is because the Yankees are on the slate, and we talked about it. Collectively, they're basically a 4K per stack in a run total that is actually higher than the Dodgers right now. So maybe that makes the Dodgers a little bit more lucrative in tournaments, and I don't have to separate myself from that. Maybe I have to do that with the Yankees here. So just kind of wanted to share that bit of strategy and maybe put that in your back pocket going forward. We did see Cody Bellinger hit the IL yesterday. He was in a lineup, and then after the lineup got released, they sent him to the IL. I don't know. Maybe that was a clerical error, but Dodgers lineup not out yet. German Marquez, definitely somebody that we all regard as a good pitcher, but the Dodgers are so good. They're playing some of the most inspired baseball in all of the league, so I expect them to show up and show out. In Coors Field, temperature right now about 78 degrees, so it'll be knocking on the door of 80 degrees. So we're just betting on the talent here. No Marquez for me. Walker Buehler on the bump for Los Angeles here. He kind of gets lost in the sauce here, and this maybe opens him up in tournaments as a potential play. But when you look at this slate, obviously everyone's going to want Zach Wheeler. Chris Sale probably gets a little bit of attention. Luis Garcia against the Angels. No one's really going to land with a high level of confidence on Walker Buehler in Coors, right? And, I don't disagree with that initial sentiment. But I think he would at least be viable. Is it impossible for him to go out there and throw 5-6 innings of great baseball? No. So maybe he's somebody that if you're running 100, 150, open up a little bit of Walker Buehler. You don't have to get too aggressive with it, and just say and just know that you were able to get there, because I don't think it's crazy for him to have a solid game here. No Marquez for me. Dodger stack, yes. If I was going to pick on Walker Buehler, it's really not Not by anything like design wise. He's got really, really strong xFIPs under 4 to both sides of the plate. I just kind of bet on talent here. Trevor Story on the south side of 5K, Charlie Blackmon 4,500, CJ Cron's under 4K. Some guys like that, but nothing different. What up, Jonathan Adams? K Johnson, all about that O'Neill and Tommy Edman multi-hit game. Let's go. You know what's gonna happen? When I get done with the stream, it's going to be quiet, right? You can hear a church mouse. And that's going to make me even more annoyed. It's like, really? Really? I like Kluber and Ryan today. Man, Kluber is somebody that I feel like, maybe I'm just a pessimist, but I feel like the general public likes Kluber, gets to Kluber a lot more willingly than I do. I'm not anti-Kluber. I don't know, when I'm watching a pitch, like he always comes out and it feels like that first inning he's super sharp. And then he starts regressing, and then all of a sudden he can't find the strike zone, and it gets weird. He's also got his, I don't know if you guys have watched any Corey Kluber games, he invented a pitch, and he's very particular about this pitch not being called a slider or a curveball or a slurve. It's just like the Kluber pitch. I don't know, but it's a mix of a curveball, slider, and sometimes he'll pull that out, and you can't really find the zone with it. But anyway, Urias ticked me off in Coors last night. Dang, Yanks just spanked Kluber. Not Kluber. You got that backwards, tall. I'm trying to figure out what you mean by that. Yanks just spanked Kluber. You mean the Rangers? I don't know. Astros at the Angels. Jansen Junk up against Luis Garcia. Garcia offense has a 5.7 run total. Looking at these Astros prices, kind of like the Yankees. We got 2 guys over 5K. But the rest of his team is at 4K or less. Chas McCormick, if he makes the lineup, bare bones min. Martin Maldonado got himself a late homer yesterday, and that really helped the Astros kind of go forward. There was a moment where Correa had the bases loaded, ended up getting a sac fly. I'm sure that tilted some folks, but yeah, Astro stack. I'm gonna go 3 days in a row here. Jansen Junk did not look particularly great in his first couple of outings as a big league pitcher. 7% K rate to righties, 15% K rate to lefties. Swinging strike rate is at 8%. We could pull up his minor league numbers just to see if we should project any type of progression. But I don't think it's... I think Kluber is Yanks pitcher. Yeah. Rangers lineup just came out. Man, I am way ahead of schedule on a 10-game slate. It's probably because I'm annoyed by all the noise pollution and I'm just kind of like going in it. But we might have a lot of extra time afterwards. In the minors, 40 innings against lefties, 192 average allowed, 41 strikeouts, 52 innings against righties, 56 strikeouts, 235 average allowed. So he was actually not that bad. But was he the guy that skipped AAA? Let's see. I guess game logs, right? Game logs. Why is Lux 2.8K? I don't know if they expected Gavin Lux to like be a starter. I think Cody Bellinger being out kind of helped that happen, right? Team LA RCT. I'm. What am I missing here? Jansen Junk. Yeah, but Gavin Lux at that price point in the starting lineup, it feels free. Like there's so much value today that it's really making you second guess everything. Yeah, he went from Double-A to the majors here, so that's why the transition is not 1-to-1 based on his minor league stuff. So I guess you would say with time, you might expect his pedigree to get you more strikeouts going forward. However, a lot of times that bridge is a long bridge to cross if you skip AAA and go straight to the majors, and then you get a team like the Astros. So I'm in on the Astros stack. Luis Garcia is somebody that I can get behind. I mentioned I was not running towards the pitcher last night for the Astros, but I would have some of them, and I did. And it's kind of the same case for Garcia today. On the road this season, Garcia 3.71 xFIP, a 21% K rate. He's somebody that can do just fine. Let me make sure that that's the right Garcia. I think there's 3 Luis Garcias in the league. One of them's a hitter for the Nationals, and I think there's another reliever named Luis Garcia. Yeah, okay, so this is right. He's been more of a contact pitcher than a strikeout guy. Last game against the Angels, he got just 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. So you're saying he's not really giving us an output that is worth chasing, but every now and then he can give us a shot at 30 fantasy points. And the Angels do strike out a little bit. Ohtani hit himself a homer yesterday. Maybe that'll right the ship for him. 6,200. During that little cold spell, we only had one true opportunity to take advantage of a discounted price where Ohtani got to the 4Ks and really didn't do much of nothing. Last night back to his homer ways. Garcia allows a 1.5 home run per nine to lefties. This season has not allowed a homer on the road yet. Is that true? That's crazy. Maybe that'll come full circle tonight. Not really running to the Astros here. To the Red Sox, to the Angels. What? But the Astros stacks absolutely in play. No matter what lineup they put out, they should all be viable. Jose Altuve, Bregman, Correa, Yordan Alvarez. Alvarez didn't play the full game yesterday, but it would absolutely be fine here. And Kyle Tucker, he looked really, really good at the plate yesterday, so I don't mind. I don't mind the Astros at all, and it will be probably one of my top 4 stacks to go after. They have a 5.7 run total, so Astros, Yankees, Dodgers. We got some juicy ones up there. Red Sox are up there as well, right? Lux was starting last night before Belly News. It was Luke Riley who got added. Yeah, I've been on record quite a few times and called out the logic behind the pricing algorithm on DraftKings, man. It's like today, for example, like how the freak do the Yankees get to 4Ks? And I get it. The Yankees have not been like a great consistent team. But you got to know you sway the ownership when you put, like, the Rangers don't have any pitching that I would not get to a 4K Yankee stack any day. And if the Yankees are a 4K stack against all of but, like, 5 pitchers in the league, they probably get chalky. So I don't know. It does a lot. And I guess that you got to test your self-discipline here. But it's even harder when it's an actual good matchup. So, when stuff like that happens, it kind of makes the game a little less fun, but I guess that's where you embrace the variance one way or the other and just play the ranges of outcomes. Braves at the D-backs, next game on the docket. I had thought that I heard Bumgarner on the broadcast last night, but I guess it's Merrill Kelly. Maybe Bumgarner's, yeah, I guess it is Merrill Kelly. I had watched the game last night. I swear they were putting over Bumgarner today, which is, I guess, good for me because I have a knack for stacking against Madison Bumgarner and it not working out for me. Bumgarner did not factor in the decision. When was Bumgarner's last game? The 17th. Today would be the 5th day. Are we for sure? I swear last night they were putting over Bumgarner as the starter tonight. But every site I'm looking at has Merrill Kelly as the probable pitcher. So, I guess I'm just wrong. He pitched on the 15th. I mean, I guess we got to trust the resources here. I don't know if something changed, but I swear they were putting over Bumgarner as the starter last night. If it is Merrill Kelly, yeah, Merrill Kelly's a contact righty. He hasn't pitched in a little bit. A 299 average allowed to righties, a 161 homer per nine. Chase Field did say that they would open the roof again tonight. This would be the 3rd night in a row. And the temps are pushing 100 degrees. So, in my opinion, Chase Field with the roof open and temps in the high 90s becomes probably the most hitter-friendly park on the slate day to day, especially when you factor in that the D-backs pitching is so below average that it just creates a huge opportunity for opposing offenses And we saw that with the Braves yesterday. They left Luke Weaver out there. I thought Weaver was going to be a quasi-opener, and he ends up going, 6+ innings, but he gives up 5 runs. And I was like, yeah, give me more at-bats like this. And it worked out well for me. So you can sign me up for the Brave stack again. They have a 5.5 run total. Royals, Cleveland. Yeah, that's not on the slate. There's a lot of weather in those early games. 5.5 run total for the Braves. There's no one on this Braves lineup you couldn't get me to play. Much like the Yankees, they're just probably cumulatively too cheap. Freeman and Albies being over 5K, but it kind of gets offset really quickly when some of their better, hotter hitters lately, Eddie Rosario, Jorge Soler, are under 4K. So I don't really care about the 5K guys when I offset it and make it, a 4.5K stack. So Braves are absolutely one of the teams I'm targeting today. I guess keep an eye on the pitching situation for the D-backs, man. I don't know, man. I swear they were putting over Mad Bum last night. So just watch that. I'm not playing Merrill Kelly. It sounds like he's off the Rona list anyway. So maybe he doesn't go as deep. And we've seen a couple guys come back from the Rona IL and not be as sharp. So he hasn't pitched since the 15th. I guess. Wait, how has he pitched the 15th? And so I guess that would be 7 days on him, and then Mad Bum pitched the 17th, which would have been the 5th day for him. So I guess they're bumping Mad Bum for Kelly. I don't know. Either way, it's a good matchup. I probably would benefit more financially from Merrill Kelly because for whatever reason Madison Bumgarner likes to destroy me. However, this would have been the spot, right? Madison Bumgarner, roof open, 100 degrees. You can't run now. That warning track ain't gonna save you now. And I would have been all in on these Braves to attack some Mad Bum. Bomb detector, Jorge Soler, 4.1 rating on the bomb detector, 409 for Adam Duvall. I mean, these guys are swinging hot sticks and they got a lot of power. Speaking of power, and this is Jock Peterson. He pinch hit yesterday. Have you guys seen Jock Peterson lately? He's got himself like a little beer gut going. He's looking horrible at the plate. What happened, man? I swear, a couple months ago, he was on fire, looking pretty sharp. And I don't know, when he got delegated to the bench, I don't know, he just skipped a couple of ab days. But man, he kind of looked like a Daniel Vogelback, Justin Bohr type guy yesterday. I don't know. Maybe I'm pushing it, right? What up, Gus? K. John says, I'm riding the Riley train here, and Albie's from the left side again. Yes, sir. Definitely in on the Brave stack. Where are you guys at on this poll? We're at 20 to 50% to play Wheeler, 0 to 20 to 0 to 20 Wheeler. 12% of 33 votes say that they would have 100% Wheeler. Thinking about it. Let's move on to the next game. Mariners at the Athletics. Chris Flexen on his haters, taking on Cole Irvin. I don't know. I want to make a crocodile hunter reference out of that. Maybe but he's not a strikeout guy, so I can't call him the strikeout hunter. So I don't know. Just pretend like I did something and react. Mariners have a 4 implied run total. Athletics 4.6. We get 2 contact pitchers from each side of the handedness spectrum, I guess. A massive pitcher's park here. Temps in the low 60s. If I want to pick on Chris Flexen, it's really just hit for average righties. Starling Marte, if he hits for average against you, he'll probably steal a couple of bases. It's 5,800, so you got to go up there and get him. But he makes sense in this spot to maybe get on base at a good clip. Cole Irvin will allow some power, but not as much as he did last year. 108 home run per nine this year to righties. Mitch Haniger maybe gets into one. I've got Tom Murphy if he's in the lineup. I always love him against lefties. But Cole Irvin doesn't allow a lot of hard contact, 32%. So Matt, parlay that with the park factors, with the temperature. This is just kind of a game that exists to me on a 10-game slate, and I don't do much but cherry pick here. Matt Olson, chipping a chair him every day, twice on Sunday to get into one. But for the most part, just cherry picking this one. I don't think I get any concentrated stacks to either team here. Kay Johnson says, you already know why I'm not playing Wheeler. I know why. What up, ABG? I'm going to hammer this game again after going 1-4 on batch from this. Hopefully the rest of the lineup can get me 120 again. Are we talking about the Braves game, ABG? I might have reacted too late to that. My Dodgers going to bust. Gus with a little truth. Guys, how did I just do this? We got one game left. What happened? I've been speaking Spanish all day. What? Like, how am I done? I guess let's take a pause for the call. Let's get a plug out the way. If you guys want access to the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet and the NFL Week 3 VIP spreadsheet, go to RunDFS.com. Get yourself signed up. I'll tell you what, I think I still have this this promo code live. So if you guys want 20% off, use code Showdown. That should get you 20% off any membership. Try it out. We'll have NFL projections and player pools and all that good stuff for this weekend and for the Showdown slate tomorrow. There won't be a live stream tomorrow. It looks like every Thursday it's just going to be a wonky day for baseball. So no live stream tomorrow, but we will have a Showdown video on the channel to maybe get you guys a player pool carved out for what should be a Donnybrook between the the Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers. Can't wait for that one. But those primetime games have kind of surprised us thus far. So maybe this one does as well. Also, this stream brought to you by PrizePicks. Everybody on the planet has a PrizePicks code. But if for some reason you just returned to the planet or you just arose from your slumber, getting ready for NBA and catching NFL now that there's some data after 2 weeks, and you want to try PrizePicks, I think it's a great substitute to the sports books for me because I don't have access to sports books in the state of Texas. Go check out PrizePicks.com. If you sign up using code GUNDACKER, they'll show me a little bit of love. And that's basically what it comes down to right now. You really don't get benefits from using anybody's code anymore. It's just who do you love. And if you love me, sign up using my code. Show me a little bit of love there. You'll also get up to 100% of your initial deposit doubled, up to $100. I don't know why I worded that so confusing, but let's say you want to deposit $100, that'll become $200, and you can go around making some cards. We'll look at some of these plays here and maybe walk away with a couple of them. Zach Wheeler, we said, was already kind of up there at 7.5 strikeouts. Kluber's at 5.5. Aiken's at 4.5. I'd be curious with the under on that against Philly, but then again, Taylor Hearn's at 4.5. Chris Sale's at 6. Walker's at 4.5 against the Red Sox. I might be on the under there. Walker Buehler's at 5.5. Interesting. Joe Ryan's at 5. I think I'd be curious with the over at 5 on Joe Ryan in that spot. Mel Kelly 4.5. Not really running there. Yeah, I feel like most of these strikeout props look pretty appropriate. What I would maybe look at is fantasy score on Joe Ryan. He's at 28. So this is Fanduel scoring. Could we get 6 innings out of Joe Ryan? Get that quality start and some strikeouts? If so, I think yes. I'd take the over on that. And Chris Sale being at 33 feels kind of light. 4 points more than Joe Ryan here. Again, Fanduel scoring. That quality start gets you halfway there. You get the win. So I like Chris Sale over 33. Anybody else kind of screaming at me here? Zach Wheeler's at 44. It's kind of taxed to get it, though. Anyway. Let's go my Panthers here. We all have ours. I've never played Tom Brady. My only rule, rather lose without him than win with him. Oh, man. I get it, man. I get it. Tom Brady. I used to not like Tom Brady, but now I love the guy, man. He's I don't know, man. He's so likable. His social media game is strong. He's just funny. I don't want to say he seems humble, but he doesn't seem to take anything too serious. So I just kind of appreciate that about him. And then I guess, I've never experienced losing to him in a Super Bowl. I could understand if your team did, so I guess maybe that's less reason for me to be salty. Main event tonight. the San Francisco Baseball Giants taking on the San Diego Baseball Padres. Scott Kazmir taking on Vince Velasquez. What a main event this is. Like what? $5,900 on Kazmir, $7K on Velasquez. This game feels like it should. I don't want to say shootout, but if yesterday's game put up some runs between Musgrove and Gossman, you feel like the opportunity's there for these guys to maybe make these offenses a little bit more enticing tonight. Kazmir has not thrown more than 4 innings in an appearance this season. His last appearance was on June 4th. So we're talking over 3 months here. I guess we would maybe catch up on what he might or might not have been doing in the minors. Scott Kazmir. If you guys don't know who Scott Kazmir is, he's 37 years old. Like, he was pitching 10 years ago. Like, some of you guys were in middle school while he was out here pitching. So he's back in action. And yeah, sure, whatever. Don't expect much from him. Looking at his last couple minor league games, September 16th, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earnings, 1 bomb, a lot of homers, last 2 minor league appearances. A 230, I tell you what, his average allowed is kind of low. The whip is 1-2 plus. You kind of expect that. Been more of an air ball pitcher, fly ball pitcher. And then Vince Velasquez, well, we got recent sample size on him, including 85 innings pitched this season. And he has a 5.08 expected ERA, a 1.46 whip. And when it comes to homers, yeah, he got some home runs. I allow them. I'm not a rapper. 2.15 home run per nine to righties, 1.72 home run per nine to lefties. Giants are in it to win it here. 4.7 implied run total. I might dabble with the over, knowing these numbers here. I guess with these two pitchers, it just comes down to a question of length, and being that Kazmir is a stretched out starter in the minors, if they can get 5-6 out of him, go for it. Obviously, you can't punt a game, or you don't feel like you can punt a game if you're the Giants, because they got just a 1-game separation from the Dodgers. But it is what it is, man. You don't want to tax your bullpen for the now and really F up the later. Vince Velasquez, let's see what we might expect from him in terms of length. 4 innings on the 17th, went to 6-7 pitches, so you might get to like 80, 85. It's called up earlier Friday, 17th, so it's been 5 days, so I don't imagine that we need to do too much dig into his minor league stuff, and like I said, we have plenty of big league samples, so we'd be betting on the offenses here. No interest in the pitchers at all, not even if there's a fire. Am I playing Kazmir or Velasquez? Give me the Giant stack for sure, and then heck, why not play Fernando Tatis Machado against the contact lefty, 169 home run per nine? Can we split his minor league numbers to maybe find his source of weakness when it comes to power? It's Scott Kazmir. Am I doing this? Against righties, he's allowed 25 hits in 29 innings. And I've got 5 homers in 29 innings. So usually about 1 homer per 10 is about what you would expect. So for him to have 5 and 3 is definitely above what you want. So he's allowing some power. Give me the Padres. Give me Tommy Pham, Will Myers, Machado, Tatis easily. Give me the Giants easily. It's pretty simple. Simple game, right? Chat, that is every game on this slate. I did it in an hour. I don't know how. But now we have plenty of time to circle back, get some lineups entered, some confirmed lineups that dropped. And if you guys were late to the class, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, throw them at me. I knew it would happen, right? It's radio silence now that I don't need clear, I don't know, audio waves from my surroundings. But what are you going to do? The other thing I would ask, if you're here, could you double check? Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Would surely appreciate it. And if you are lurking on the YouTubes, do me a favor, subscribe if you haven't, man. We got a lot of content pumping out every day. We got NFL content coming later tonight for the showdown tomorrow. I might try and do an NFL Week 1 breakdown. those videos haven't been doing great numbers, and there's so much great NFL content out there that I don't necessarily feel the pressure to put that out there, but I do appreciate that, some of you guys do like my spin on football, so maybe I'll try and get that out there. And then we're about a month away, right? Is October 22nd? Is that opening night for NBA? We're about a month away from basketball, and that's when it really gets thick. So hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you are up to date, in tune with everything that we're doing on the channel, twitter.com/Gundacker. Anyway, this portion of the broadcast, I'm going to go back, get some of these lineups confirmed. If you guys want to stick around, chat it up with me, I'd love your company. If not, man, I appreciate your time. Hit me with that Minnesota lineup one more time. Giants struggled against Velasquez in the past. The past is the past. Today is today, though. That's a RunDFS.com exclusive, man. Shout out to Denny. Rangers lineup: Yanni Hernandez, Laurel leading off. Isaiah Kiner Falefa. Andy, I took a pill in Ibanez, Nate Lowe, Adolis Garcia, Willie Calhoun, DJ Peters, Brock Holt, and Jose Trevino. That's our confirmed lineup from the Rangers. Notable that Adolis Garcia is batting 5th here, so kind of taking a step down. Yankees lineup: DJ LeMahieu, Luke Voit, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. Look at that 1 through 4 against a lefty with problems. Gio Urshela is batting 7th. Kyle Higashioka is batting 9th, and Brett Gardner. So this is becoming more than a coincidence. Higashioka normally just catches Garrett Cole. I think this is the 3rd start in a row now that Higashioka is catching Corey Kluber. So I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that is something that I'm just being cognitive of. But what that does is it takes Gary Sanchez's bat out of this lineup. We would love his swing against a lefty. Higashioka is not necessarily as viable. I say he's viable, but he's not as he doesn't have the same upside that a Gary would have in this spot. We also saw 1 through 4 be all righties here, so Anthony Rizzo kind of expected he might get the day off in lieu of Luke Voit. Gleyber Gio in the lineup, no Brett Gardner here, so I'm in on this. I'm in on this lineup, sure. Again, Judge is the only bat here over 5K. Everyone else 4K or less. It's just way too cheap to get to the Yankees here, and I gotta imagine that's gonna jack up their ownership. Orioles lineup not out yet. Mets and the Red Sox. We do have these lineups confirmed. On the Mets side, Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso's batting 2nd. Hello. Francisco Lindor batting 3rd. Javier Baez batting cleanup. J.D. Davis batting 5th. Jonathan VR is batting 6th. Jeff McNeil. You're Jeff McNeely. Kevin Pillar, and then James McCann, lefty masher. Has McCann caught Chris Sale? Did he catch him in Chicago? I feel like he might have. Not that it matters 5 years later, but just a fun thing we like to tie in. The Twins lineup is out. Luis Ariz, Brent Rooker is batting 2nd. Josh Donaldson's batting 3rd. Max Kepler, Miguel Sano, Nick Gordon, D. Gordon's brother, hit himself a bomb yesterday. Ryan Jeffers, and Andrelton Simmons. So this Twins lineup definitely feeling watered down. Notable by their absence. Byron Buxton, Jorge Polanco. And I'm just, this is definitely not a great Twins lineup. So their run total went to 3.6 here. So I don't know. I don't feel as inclined to stack them. There's still some large ISOs in this lane here. Rooker, Donaldson, Kepler, Sano, especially going against a contact pitcher. But you do like Byron Buxton and Jorge Polanco, right? Like you feel like if you were excited to stack the Twins before those two are out, that kind of takes a dump in Mother Maggie's shoes. On the Cubs side, Ortega, Frank Swindell, Patrick Wisdom, batting 3rd. Extra implied at bat. Matt Duffy batting 5th. Robinson Chirinos Rob Chirinos, Trace Thompson, Clay Thompson's brother, always getting the September love in the majors. I think we've seen a pop and a stolen base out of him lately. So the strikeout rates are still there, maybe not as aggressively there as they have been earlier this season, but Joe Ryan is I think a plus pitcher. Wisdom strikes out 40% of the time. Ian Happ 27%. Chirinos 29%. The pitcher spot. I'm still there on Joe Ryan, but I also feel like this is. Before I really digested pricing, I was like, dude, I could play one SB, I can get away with this AK Joe Ryan and go for it. You really, pricing is not a problem today, right? No matter who you like. If you like the top 2 price pitchers on DraftKings, whether it be Wheeler, Garcia, Buehler, Sale, like I said, Sale, you're still getting 37 per. Now you punt 1 or 2 positions, you can get the full onslaught Yankee stack. The Brave stack is still kind of too cheap. You don't have to get that creative to feel like you're not giving up much at the SP spot to get access to a high octane, high upside lineup. If you are late to the stream, keep an eye on the Wrigley game in terms of wind. Right now we're showing winds blowing in at 20 plus miles an hour. Wrigley gets a little windy. Couple times a year. Yesterday, wind was blowing in 15, and it didn't really do much in terms of suppressing runs. We saw a couple homers as well. Nick Gordon, who didn't have Nick Gordon homer yesterday? So I don't know. Look out for that. Let's get caught up on chat here. Best values on the slate. The Yankees. The stack themselves is ridiculous. Danny, Ayo Gun, don't play Wheeler today, man. He doesn't pitch good on even numbered Wednesdays. That was yesterday. Today is today, though. Gun, please don't forget about the price pick picks. I just went through a couple, but I'll go after it again. I think that the strikeout props are all priced kind of good, so I would kind of just be betting on fantasy projections. I did like the Joe Ryan and Chris Sale. I wish Joe Ryan didn't get canceled because I would have a lot of fun references for Joe Ryan for you guys. And then you would be like, why is he talking about men's penises? What? Huh? Look it up. Brewers lineup did come out. Colton Wong, Eduardo Escobar, Christian Yelich, Avi Garcia, Omar Narvaez, Luis Arias, Jace Peterson, Lorenzo Cain. Boom. Confirmed Brewers lineup. Schwindel's on a 10-game hit streak. Let's go. Schwindel and Wisdom obviously have power for days. But we are dealing with hurricane force winds. All right, let's close this poll out, chat. Let's see what you guys... Final verdict. If we knew Zach Wheeler was 50% owned by the field, how much would we want of him in tournaments? We closed the poll. You see the results right there. Looks like 13% of you guys would be, or 15% of you guys would be cool with hitting that lock button. 36% of you guys say, all right, I'm going to go against the field and just go underweight half of that to 0% of that and let baseball be baseball. And then the rest of you guys want to be even with the field or a little bit over. So it's about what I would expect. I thought a few more of you guys might be in on locking it, but I guess that question is a little bit subjective in terms of quantity of lineups, right? It's easier to lock a guy like that in 20 lineups than it is in 150 lineups. So, anyway, I guess we'll go back to the price picks directory here to get Skimmer a couple picks here. What do you guys say? We'll hunt out three picks to bet on for our tickets here. Joe Ryan over 28 is one that I like. This is Fanduel scoring. I kind of like Chris Sale over 33. Like, how often is Chris Sale not getting us 33 DKP? FDP. Chris Sale, FDP by game log last, let's go 10 games. He's cleared 33 in most of them, I guess. Baltimore, he didn't get strikeouts. He didn't get the sixth inning. Tampa didn't get it done there. 2 games against Tampa, a really good team, whatever. But past that, he's cleared that. So I'd probably be in on Chris Sale, on Joe Ryan. Hopefully they get the win against Taijuan Walker. Strikeout wise, I guess we'll just go to the hitter side here and cross-reference the bomb detector with a couple of projections here. So let's reset it and then let's resort it. A lot of low sample size here, jacking things up at the top end. But again, I'm in on the Braves stack. So with the roof open, with the temps pushing 100 degrees, if you can give me any of the Braves, Albies, Freeman, even Soler and Eddie Rosario, if you can give me those guys over, I mean, you're not going to see any projections over 8.5. But if you give me those guys at a decently low projection, I wish this was sorted a little bit more efficiently. Of course, the Yankees are up there as well, 9 and 8. Homers clear all of these. So anyone that you think might homer, you can just bet the over on their fantasy point. So Polanco didn't make the lineup. Maybe, I don't know how it works. Like if I bet the under on Polanco and he pinch hit, since it's a NL game, and he didn't do anything, like would that count? I don't know. I'm genuinely curious. If so, maybe get to that now. Any Braves? Where are the Braves at? Albies is at 8.5. Freeman's at 9. So they're kind of taxing them, but anyone that you got a hankering for a bomb for, go for it. Starling Marte, where's he at? He's got a guy that gives up a high average. If he gets on base, he'll swipe a bag. I think it's 5 if it's Fanduel scoring. So if he swipes a bag with a knock, that's 8 right there. And then if he gets run in, that's an extra run. So I think you can give me Aaron Judge over 8 or over 9. This is just people that are plucking out for homers or whatever, right? It wouldn't count. They need to start. Oh, okay. I knew that for pitchers, but I didn't know how that worked for hitters. But okay, that's good to know. Otherwise, I would be trying to con the system, right? Not telling you guys to con the system. So yeah, give me Judge over 9. Give me, I guess, Ozzy Albies. I'll take it. I feel like it's juiced up there, but I'll take it. And then the pitching points for Joe Ryan, Chris Sale, I kind of like them over. So those are 4 that I play with. Maybe rotate them in and out. I wouldn't put them all on the same leg. I wouldn't force it to power play either. I think that's something that a lot of players that I know that play on PrizePicks, they just really stick to the power plays, and that makes it pretty much a parlay. And you can kind of raise your floor and get better expected results by allowing the flex format to be more part of your game. Anything else, chat? I mentioned it. No stream tomorrow. The baseball slate's so scattered that I don't know how they're gonna work with it. Last week we saw DraftKings kind of catch the afternoon games. But for whatever reason, it seems like every Thursday they got this all-day nonsense. And then us having a couple of postponements today, it's probably going to create a couple double headers tomorrow, probably. So it just seems like it's going to be a massive headache content-wise. Logistically, you could potentially see a 6-game main slate, but the Indians game got postponed. So I don't know. No matter what, though, if it was based on the actual 7 p.m., 6 p.m. time every day, there would only be a 4-game main slate. You guys could probably survive without me. So tomorrow's going to be a football day for me in terms of content. Look for a showdown video maybe tonight. And then we'll play some showdown tomorrow. I will have VIP coverage for everything in the RunDFS.com VIP area. So if you guys want access to that, go to RunDFS.com, get signed up, get locked in there. And then we'll be back for a live stream on Friday here. And then I think on Saturday, I think I got 2 shows on Osmo, the morning show and the live before lock. So no live stream on this channel on Saturday, and then Sunday is football day. So the next live stream's Friday, and then the next live stream on this channel is Monday after the Friday. That makes sense? Felt like that was pretty clear. Hap, Wisdom, Romuto, Lux, Soler for the util spot. Rankum gun. Probably Soler 1, Romuto 2, Lux 3, and then Hap and Wisdom there. So, yeah. I wouldn't hate if you went Real Muto 1 just because I do like one Romuto's been good. Actually, maybe not Real Muto. Oh, yeah, he's back and cleaned up. He's just been good. He stole a base yesterday. He's got a little bit of power. Just a really good spot for him against Keegan Aiken. So I wouldn't mind if he went to 1, but I like Jorge Soler potentially leading off in Chase Field if they pop the lid open again. If he's not leading off, then I would probably push Real Muto 1, but it would be between those two. Yeah, I know. Anyway, chat, that's going to do it. Good stream. Got it out early. I appreciate you guys, as always. You don't understand. I appreciate you guys. So, do me one favor before you go. Hit that thumbs up, man. Twitter.com/Gundacker. How you guys can reach out to me, man. I hope you guys crush it. I appreciate you guys making a little bit of my time be a little bit of your time. I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord about 40 minutes making my lineups, my player pools. You guys want to tail it? You guys want to cross-reference mine to yours? You're more than welcome to, man. You really are. I love you guys. I hope you have a great night. I hope you crush it. Send me them screenshots on Twitter. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money. Win money, money, money.